The fact that Tesla closed above 280 and hit 285 on Friday shows how resilient the stock is despite the Federal Reserve's attempts to slow down the economy. The stock is currently less than 7% away from reaching the 300 mark, a significant barrier that, if broken, might cause it to continue rising. The first Model 3 was produced on July 8, 2017, and the handoff event took place 20 days later on July 28. If that is any indication, we might see the Cybertruck handoff event possibly in early August. Jagged Texas recently produced its first Cybertruck, which means we might expect the handoff event even sooner than most people were expecting in September, accompanied with all the new and latest updates and specifications that the vehicle is now carrying, which according to Elon should be very impressive. It's going to be a huge event for the company, an engineering feat that many said would never happen or was simply not possible yet. Now we're seeing evidence that we are getting close. This achievement feels really exciting and will no doubt add additional exuberance to the stock price when the market opens next week. Added to the fact that earnings are also next week, the stock price is going to be all about these events. Of course, there are two parts to earnings: the report and the call. And this quarter in the report, the thing most investors care about are going to be the margins, which are expected to be somewhere between 18 and 19, including regulatory credits, and regulatory credits are anyone's guess. The credits seem to have been getting high lately, around $500 million, but we usually expect around $350 million. If I had to guess, it might be slightly above $400 million. But that's about all we can do with credits is guess. Margins were 19.3 in Q1, but we have seen a bit of discounting in Q2, so they are expected to be lower. However, we have also seen some commodity prices lower as well, so there's some mixed opinions. Since this is just the gross margin for autos, I would estimate it to be about 18.5, since this is the most significant number that investors are looking for and will have the biggest impact on the stock price. Assuming nothing else too crazy is in the report. For example, suddenly the energy sector is up significantly. Energy should have increased. But I still believe that we're waiting for more supply for sales from the new factory before we should start seeing some even stronger growth there. But the margins are actually more reflective of the ephemeral stock price, and most investors, at least those in the retail space, have moved past the quarterly performance and are now more concerned with the long-term horizon. What difference does it make, really, if margins are down 1% from the previous quarter? After all, Tesla is still increasing deliveries significantly over the quarter, and we have a massive new factory on the way that will be announced later this year, with roughly double the output we currently have. This is something you might see in the next few years. But how many other companies of this size do you know that have planned to double sales in just the next few years? That's only for one aspect of this business. So the report is only really useful for the day-to-day stock price. Traders will probably take profits when the financials are released. So what I would most like to be asked is obviously an update on the Cybertruck, since we've seen that one has actually been produced in Texas. We're getting close, and I'm sure someone will ask if Elon hasn't already given an update as to when they expect. The issue with the earnings call is that it is quite frustrating hearing some of the questions being asked frequently. They've already been answered, or if you're a big enough fan, you know the answer anyway. They also tend to focus on the short term or get questions that are more for the Tesla consumer rather than investors. The transfer that will occur, it actually appears to be happening this quarter. Though I must admit that I was a little worried that it might be delayed to Q4 or something. After all, when something that a lot of people find unbelievable materializes and the stock price rises in response, investors may begin to take other aspects of the company more seriously. FSD robots may also seem unbelievable, but if they materialize soon and Tesla manages to mass-produce the Cybertruck, perhaps they will find success with robots or even robot taxes. As for the stock price, we have no idea what kind of momentum it might experience at times. However, we have seen it double in a matter of months in the past, so anything is possible, especially with Tesla. I'm a big fan of the Model 3 Highland and eager to see it in person, as well as the new specifications. It would be great if someone at least inquired about the model. Even if Elon replied, "This is not the place we announced new models," then at least it could be implied that it is on the way. However, everyone always likes to discuss the potential Osborne effect when it comes to new Tesla products, because we expect them to be such a step change in progress that any sane consumer would simply wait for the new product, which is why we can understand why Tesla has been so evasive about this update. Nevertheless, pictures of this have been seen. refresh, and other leaked rumors, so there is a high chance is coming sometime, and the Model 3 is 6 years old now, so it could do with some refreshing to pump demand a bit more along with some cost-cutting processes. You know what though, in reality, this update itself isn't really that big a deal. It will only improve margin a bit due to lower costs, and potentially more demand, which would result in higher prices. But the Model 3 doesn't sell anywhere near as well as the Y. What will be interesting, though, we'll be seeing how the new battery can perform along with some of the other updates like hardware 4. It won't dramatically increase profits though, however, when the similar update is applied to the Model I. What with that being Tesla's best-selling vehicle, then that might have some impact anyway. In reality, I'm not expecting any mention of this car from Tesla yet. I would hope that someone asked about Mexico, though, and what sort of timelines we might expect there. Perhaps we'll get some indication of when they plan on breaking ground and models start coming off the production line. A progress report on the 4680 sales would be helpful. We haven't had an official update since the Q4 earnings call, so it's been about 6 months. The last we heard then was that they plan to increase sales next year, though the announcement we received from the 4680 line at Giga, Texas was not particularly encouraging with results. I would also love an update on the Gen 3 vehicle, but I don't think the only school will be the event to get much more information on that product. That would have little effect on the manufacture of cars. The market value of the Optimus bot company alone might exceed $1.2 trillion. Optimus's apps are becoming more and more varied and high quality as AI technology develops and new concepts come to light. As a result, App Store sales expand exponentially, which lowers the P/E ratio annually. Even without a 1,000-fold increase in earnings, Tesla might make $3 billion in profit in 2030 only from the App Store. By 2030, Tesla might sell up to 5 million Optimus units. The robot's quality will be improved, and production will be increased with the first 2 million. When combined with Tesla's previous hardware estimate of $450 billion, the Optimus product alone may be valued at over $1.6 trillion today. It's possible that investors were unaware of this valuation. Since 4680s have the same energy density as lithium-ion batteries and can be placed in a Cybertruck to launch with a range of maybe 200 miles, I appear to be of the less common opinion that they won't be utilized in Cybertrucks, at least not right away. For the time being, 2170 sales seem to be the answer, and yes, they can be used. They don't have to be sold to vehicles or actual packs. However, if Elon can deliver a positive earnings call, I believe there's a really strong chance that we'll see 300 again as soon as next week. After that, with the anticipation that the Cybertruck will actually begin deliveries, we could see the stock run up to that event as well. I feel like saying 330, but who knows? That could be anything. If any other significant news is announced, for example, the breaking ground in Highland or Mexico, it could be like throwing gasoline on the fire and the stock might even reach record highs. With this stuck, nothing shocks me anymore.